Okay, Aisling, could you tell us what you've learnt about IBEC today?
Our talk today was brilliant. We got a little insight into the different opportunities that are available with the organisation. We got an insight into the different jobs that are available in different countries across the EU and in different areas of working. For example, Declan works in Glanbia, which is based, and he's based in Brussels, and he was telling us a little bit about his life and work in Brussels compared to the headquarters of the organisation at home in Dublin.
Okay.
We just had an interesting talk there on the role of the European Commission and the role of the individual commissioners. It was pretty good, because let us know more about what the Commission does and what it doesn't do, and what its main areas of spending were. And also an interesting bit was talked about is what is the consequences of the UK leaving the EU, and also what if Scotland leaves the UK, because that will have implications on our place within the European Union.
I felt that the presentation that Mark just gave was really interesting. It simplified the basis of the institutions, which is something I learned a few years ago but haven't looked at in a long time. It was also really relevant to a module I just did about European identities and borders.
I found the DIVE programme and the DIVE company really interesting. Although it's a chemical company, there's loads of opportunities out there for business graduates and law graduates, and also language graduates as well. So I'm definitely going to consider applying for this company in the future.
The rotation programme really appeals to future graduates like myself and Lisa, because it gives you an opportunity to do something different. You're not just stuck doing one sort of section. You can go into, say, supply chain, etc. And also as well, they would sort of encourage you to learn another language as well, and they place you somewhere that you might enjoy.
Also with the orientation programme, you can learn skills that you've never learned before, and they take you step by step through the progress, and you may learn skills that you never thought that you'd be good at, and I find that really interesting and effective.
Yeah, and the people who already work for them, they seem to really enjoy it, so it seems like a really good opportunity.
And they're all placed all around the world as well, so that's a plus.
Okay, so I'm going to be graduating from anthropology this year, and want to go into either policy research, international development type area. So Oxfam for me was the main appeal of this talk. That was the session I was most looking forward to. And the lady who just gave the talk was really informative, saying how Oxfam relates to the EU, how all of Oxfam is completely coordinated, how everyone works with each other within the organisation, and how people do sort of research and policy in like the third world, for example, and how they try and implement that and influence the EU over here, which I found really interesting. She's also an anthropology graduate, which is promising for me, as it's a bit like treading water, trying to break into the NGO and third sector I found at the minute. So it's promising that her career path has led her to here, and it's a job that she really enjoys, and it's something that really appeals to me as well. That I'd like to do in the future. So I think learning not just how businesses and politics and languages are relevant to the EU, but also the third sector here as well can also be involved in the EU. You're not really as aware of it in the lobbying and the advocacy, which is what the speaker spoke about, how that can change and influence the EU and policy, and how things are done in countries as well. I found really interesting that I wasn't so aware of, and I don't think most of the group were aware of the role of NGOs within the EU too.
Today was excellent because we got an insight into how to apply for the different roles and jobs within the European Commission, and I can speak Irish, and English is my mother tongue, is my first language, so I found out today that I could actually use both English and Irish in my role, in a potential role in the European Union. Irish is seen as a speciality language, and they're apparently crying out for people that have this language, so it gave me great insight into the role, and I will definitely be applying.
My event was something that people were maybe dreading, having to just go up and start conversations with people, but I think what it actually did was give us confidence in ourselves, confidence in our own abilities to go up to people, introduce ourselves and learn who's who. And I think also it's nice to see that Queen's graduates have been to so many places in the world and that it can actually become an international institution.
Right, so I was on the tour, on the Brussels study tour last year, and fortunately I had the opportunity to be invited back for this drinks evening here in the Northern Irish representation. And it is a fantastic opportunity to be able to talk to various representatives from all areas around Brussels, mainly from Northern Ireland. So you get an idea of where you can come from, or where you can go to from Northern Ireland. And so I'm currently here on my Erasmus, which is why I was invited back. And currently I'm learning French back at Queen's, and it has been a fantastic time over here to be able to learn to speak French, speaking to Belgians with their slightly different French than France, and it is a fantastic way of just broadening your horizons. Even though it is a European country, you broaden your horizons massively by just knowing another country.
Employees with laptops and heading back into the train, even with implanted chips and threat to privacy still exists. Please keep the positive impact on people's lives in mind. Don't force everyone against.
Because like that is the issue.
Ξέρω εγώ, πείτε το όπως θέλετε. Το πρόβλημα είναι ότι με αυτό το μικροτσίπ
We need to cooperate and
Health issues was, but it's not scary. I don't think if you have to finish a new diet, I think the biggest issue is actually that we have some data is so many members of children and the reason why they're not making it.
As an overall majority. The main screen shows the committee's current amendments. Green items have a majority and red items don't. The screen also shows which parties will accept these amendments.
How does it work? Maybe
like you're able to like join. What are you guys?
So we have to get one in each. We have to get one green in each. Well, we have one in each. Oh, in terms of the
Opposition to this amended directive. Will you ask the members of your group to vote in favour or against the directive?
We're in favour of the directive because we see that because there's not as much border control anymore in the EU that we would need something like this to ensure security of your nation state. We understand that there is a human rights argument there, but we will make sure that it is proportionate. In terms of children, we do recognise the benefit of, for example, missing children throughout the EU member states. It would be good to track them down, and also healthcare, to have all your healthcare information whenever you're travelling. You can receive like whatever in your case of emergency when you don't have that information. It is on this chip, so that's moving for it.
Thank you. I now call the spokesperson of the Solidarity Party group to deliver a short response to the same questions.